Hello, my name is Matthew Kroen, and this summer I did research focused on different methods of measuring subthalamic nucleus, or STN activation during deep brain stimulation with Dr. Carlo Malaga in the Biomedical Engineering Department at Bucknell University. Deep brain stimulation of the STN is used to treat Parkinson's disease, but the exact parts of the nucleus that we want to stimulate is still under debate. This is important because the stimulation will radiate in all directions, which can be seen in Figure 2 in red. Closer to the hypothetical ideal stimulation region that we can target, the less the electricity is needed to stimulate the region, reducing how far the electricity will radiate. This means that a patient will still get the desired structures stimulated, but structures that we do not wish to stimulate will be less so due to the smaller size of the activation region. For my research, I modeled patient STNs and segmented them into the anatomical directions via two different methods. The traditional approach, which segments the STN based on points locations relative to the centroids of the STN. Additionally, I used a new orientation-specific approach, which was meant to more closely match the functional zones of the subthalamic nucleus, and that segmented the STN based on a minimum volume enclosing ellipsoid of the STN. The differences between these two can be seen in Figure 3. Between the two different methods, the only directions that showed significant differences in activation were the ventral and anterior directions. So focusing on the correlations between those directions and overall motor improvement of the patients, the orientation-specific method demonstrated weaker correlations for both the ventral and anterior directions. However, while it was a weaker correlation, none of the correlations for these two directions were statistically significant. Now shifting over to the region of overlap, the ventral anterior region, we see somewhat of a reverse. In this case, the orientation-specific approach showed a higher correlation than the traditional one did. However, it was still an insignificant trend for both methods. So overall, this means that the correlations were not consistently better or worse for the orientation-specific method, and there were no cases where it showed an insignificant trend that the traditional method showed a significant one, or vice versa. This means that the orientation-specific method is a comparable method, but it isn't a superior one. However, while this orientation-specific method may not have proven to be better, it does not preclude the possibility that another method which follows these functional zones may prove to be superior to the traditional approach sometime in the future.